All right, you cunty craftsman. That one was actually pretty creative. I just came up with that just now before I pressed record. I'm a genius. Anyways, today we're doing cute bots, right? The artwod workout, cute bots. The end goal at this is to be able to, of course, design interesting looking mechs. I guess cute is what they want them to be, or like more rounded shape design, but they have a bunch of different examples that aren't so rounded. So I guess at the end of the day, the whole point of this workout is to be able to draw mechs. We're on the first step still, because I'm going to fill up this entire page, front and back, with the first step, which is to draw rounded. It says 3 boxes and cylinders with rounded edges. I'm obviously going to do as many as I can with rounded edges, right? So maybe this wasn't really appropriate, and I should just stick to doing this for the loot box. Loot fucking what is it? Sci-fi loot box or whatever. Anyways, oh yeah, begging for likes and subscribers. Please like, please subscribe. There you go. Now you fucking morons. That must have really sent a tingle down your spine. What is that? That's like the fucking that's the soy boy shit, right? If I change my thumbnail to the soy boy thumbnail, I'm sure I'd get so many more likes. But then I don't want to reveal my face. So although it is very handsome, very very handsome, I do have a Giga Chad like jaw. So and I'm not even being sarcastic. I'm absolutely the most attractive human being you'll ever see. And with that being said, why the fuck is this desk shaking? It's so weird. I'm so confused. Anyways, let's get to it now that everybody's left. Maybe like 10 people left watching this? No, I don't even get 10 views. Maybe 5 people. But yeah. Okay, rounding boxes and cylinders. Right, I do maybe want to try combining them. But for the time being, let's just do something like this. Right. That is, well, fuck, it's a bit off, but I was trying to do something. And let's do something like so. Then what, like this? Well, I tried to combine them, but what the fuck? I think the intent is there, but the execution is god awful. Well, clearly I fucked up the what is it, the rounded cylinder? But the rounded cylinder is just it's projected outward and then larger, right? So something like and then that's literally just a rounded cylinder. Of course, we always gotta make sure everything's inside the box. Same thing if we want to have that here, right? Again, project outwards and make it smaller. So again, something like that. That's what a rounded cylinder can look like, right? Rounded edge of a cylinder. That's so bad. And I'm still gonna try to practice doing this rounding, but without the indications, because this will really force me to keep the box in mind. Like what I mean is, okay, let's say we have a box like this, right? So come here. Again, not perfect by any means, but it's an example. Now, if I wanted to really sort of show off, I guess, the actual beveling, I would create these indications. But what I'm trying to do is not do that. I'm trying to specifically Let's see. See? That's what I'm trying to do. Although maybe this could have been a bit wider out like that. So we still have this perspective, right? Still have the rounding, same thing here, same thing there, but I'm ignoring that now, right? I'm just trying to do it without thinking about, see? Or I'm trying to do it while thinking of the actual guidelines that I would usually draw, but now I'm actually keeping that in my mind instead, right? Same thing over here, like, and then this is, I guess, where I can start trying to practice a little bit with quote-unquote design. I say quote-unquote because obviously I'm not really thinking of any particular design, but this can maybe just get me used to creating rounded cylinders and rounded boxes in the same vicinity to each other, right? Something like that, you know? And the most difficult part of this is, apart from the fact that this is like slightly off, just keeping the proportions in mind. Keeping that box in mind as well. Because as we all know, it's all about the box. But yeah, something like this is roughly what I'm thinking, right? We could even, again, always trying to keep the box in mind. See? Rounded cylinders of sorts, or with rounded edges. I could have done that a bit better, but let's just take a break. But is this necessary in terms of actually getting to the cute bots part? Probably not. Honestly, maybe I might even be I might even be a little too patient in this regard, right? But it's okay. I would rather be patient and just really get the concepts down before moving on, because after this I'll be spending hours on just practicing and learning about different types of hinges, right? And rotating them, especially, and trying to just understand how they work. Jesus. And again, clearly sometimes our practices just go in a retarded direction like this. It doesn't even make sense, right? But that's just how it be. Okay, now I want a box. It's like this. And again, I will always say the hardest part is the perspective, right? And I know Bryce Colander does it very intuitively, but I also have to remember that he has many more years of experience than I do. This actually might have been a bit incorrect. It should probably be something like this. Yeah, there you go. So maybe I can actually just work with that mistake. It's like, oh, it's supposed to have those lines, even though it's not. Maybe this could be Taper it a bit inwards, like so. Jesus. See, that line is completely going in a direction that it's not supposed to, because I really struggle with that angle. And this is a fuck up as well. Should have been tapered more. Okay, just trying to figure things out, right? That's the main thing right now. Maybe that's correct, maybe that's not correct, but let's just leave it as is. Right? And this should relatively be tapering. Yet this is the correct taper. And again, like thinking about the box is also really difficult when you're doing all this. And then obviously the lines are fucking curving like a shithole. Right? Just trying to figure it out. And that's just one plane, to be honest. I should make these boxes a bit bigger. Right, if I did something like this, then it should be see how Antonio did it. Well, that doesn't seem too difficult. Then it would just be something like this, wouldn't it? Is that not correct? That just looks fucking derpy. That's definitely not correct. Let's see how he did it. I see. Oh, so this line probably shouldn't have existed. So what is it, like this? Something like that. And then from here, you can add like the oh, I see now. Okay. Yeah, see, and then that creates the multiple rounding. Ta-da! Okay, that makes sense. I'm just trying to figure out how I can make this a bit more interesting, right? So how can this shape have something more interesting come about? Maybe interesting is the wrong word, but let me just keep practicing. And I know this kind of looks like the squish as well, right? So something about this is not correct. Because this looks more like a squish cylinder rather than a rounded cylinder, right? Rounded cylinder is more projected. I would assume like that. Is that more correct? When I look at the example provided, it seems more like they're doing this. I guess let me zoom out. Fuck, I'm not trying to scrabble, I'm trying to zoom in. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Yeah, see, that's basically what I did here, where he's done something like this. Where he's taken a cylinder, but it's more of an organic curve like that. Like, yeah, he's curved it a bit organically. Then he's turned it. And then it goes straight as shit. As a wood, following the minor axis. Right. And then again. Something like that. Just trying to figure out how that works. Because why is it curved? Is it... I'm trying to figure out whether... Oh, it's curved because it's following a curved motion. Of course, it's following something that's cylindrical, right? So perhaps it makes more sense that it would be curved, right? That's a horrible example. To myself, honestly, more than anything. That? I guess you can always taper it too. I'm trying to figure this out, but let me rest my brain. Okay. Let us continue. Let's try to think out loud. Okay, so we can continue with the multiple rounded box, but I'm just trying to figure out how the rounding itself is gonna work, right? Because technically I could do something like this. Apparently it is gonna be slightly curved. Okay, I think I'm starting to understand. So it's just... something like that, right? Okay, and then we can do... There you go, see? That already looks more hard surfacey. Although again, like my lines, I don't know if this pen's running out of ink, if my pen pressure got better or worse, I don't know what the fuck's going on anymore. But we can keep practicing something like this, or I can do, maybe even, we can do the opposite. Something like that. then I fucked up the perspective there quite drastically. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Let's try that again here. I do feel as if this rounded shape is a really good way to just practice hard surface. Right, if you add a rounding, if you had multiple rounding, then maybe you round it again. You can do a lot with just this. Yeah, see? You can kind of just keep going. Even though I know my perspective is a bit inaccurate. Right? Yeah, that is a bit inaccurate. But I feel as if the more I get this down, the more practice, I just gotta think harder. I don't think I'm thinking hard enough. This has to be thought of as an actual I think that's the biggest thing I'm missing, is constantly trying to think of this as something that exists, right? It already exists. I just have to bring it to life. And because it exists, it follows certain laws, certain rules, right? And I just have to be aware of those rules in order to make it believable, right? It's just how aware of those rules I am, and how well I can portray those rules onto paper. I think that is important, right? Because now we can just there, that looks a bit better. We could even do something like this. Also, my lines are not the best, right? But there you go. Multiple rounding is starting to get a little bit single round. I guess rounded cylinder is starting to get a bit better. Damn, that really came from my stomach. And this is how we can start adding things, I think. Like, that is a pretty good idea I have going there, right? So let me just do something like because what if it's the opposite way? That looks pretty shit. It's okay. I think I know what I messed up. I do want to draw stuff down here, even if it's not optimal. But this is now when I have to think about the rounded box, right? So if I have something like that, I have to think really far ahead. Okay, something like this. There are issues. This is way too short, and this is misaligned. It's diverging here, right? But then if I add, I guess, something like just like a multiple, or just a rounded cylinder, kind of already makes it look more Interesting, right? What if I do something like... See? We can start using form blending as well. Go along the contour. Bring this out. And now it's already kind of looking... I'd like to think... more three-dimensional, hopefully. Right, even though there's a lot of things that are off here. This is just the way I'm sort of practicing it's called form intersections as well, right? So if we go along, then we like that. Right, something like that. And maybe we have something that no, that's off center as shit. And maybe it's off perspective as well. It's okay. Let's do one more. Right, just trying to get the overall idea down more than anything. This is also very off. But that's the thing, right? If I can draw the outline and keep all the rounding in mind, that's insane. In my opinion, that's actually a really good step in terms of spatial reasoning, right? Because I'm literally just drawing this outline now, and I'm keeping all of those intersections in my mind, right? If you can do that, you can honestly do anything when it comes to this shit. Like, and I'm trying to think relatively hard, right? I'm always trying to think hard. And I'm well aware the perspective is off, by the way. Just, if it is off, assume that I know it's off. I'm really decent, pretty fucking good actually, at knowing what's wrong. A lot of the times, it's like 60-70% of the time I know what's off. It's just about hand-eye coordination, right? Making sure your hand, your mind, honestly more than anything, are in sync when it comes to this. Let's see if I did another one here. Let's do a smaller one. Let's make it go this way. See, this one was actually a bit better. See? And now we can just add that doesn't make any sense. I guess what I was trying to do was something like this. Something where it sort of goes around like that. Right. I don't know if that translated well over here. I don't think it did. But anyways, let me rest my brain, turn the page, continue this onwards. This is really fun. Alright, cool. But yeah, I'm always trying to push the boundaries or whatever, right? Like, okay, if it's just single rounding or multiple rounding, whatever, right? How can we make it more difficult? Well, just take away as many guidelines as possible. It may seem simple to just draw that outline, but that outline has to indicate the rounding that's occurring all throughout the form, right? And that's difficult, and that requires a lot of thinking, right? And that's my whole thing, is I just want to think really hard. And that's also why I'm always trying to think about that box, right? See, it's getting better, but that curve is too harsh. That curve is too harsh. These curves are a bit too harsh. But for those who don't understand what I'm actually... Oh shit, I fucking shook the camera. Yeah, for those who don't understand what I'm trying to do, right? So we have multiple rounding here, right? Which is just, you have a plane, and then you have a plane underneath it that's essentially extruded outward, like so, right? This is that plane, and we're just trying to connect it and also curve all the connections, right? Very, very rough, very, very rough, but that's multiple rounding, right? The next step, in my opinion, is to literally just do the outline and make it accurate, because if I did this accurately enough, there should be something similar occurring, right? Again, if I did it accurately enough. Now it's just without the guidelines that I'm trying to do it. Slowly but surely. Same thing, you see? It's there. I'm just literally imagining all these grids to the best of my ability. And yes, of course, sometimes it is not the right curve. That's why this should be more subtle. There's a lot of subtlety at play here. But this one is the right curve because I saw that in my mind. And the thing is, it's not about seeing it in my mind per se. Maybe I'm saying that wrong. It's just about calculating, right? It's sort of a mix of intuition. Fuck, that's way too harsh. But intuition plus calculating, and also you're doing it on the fly, right? Probably not good to slow. I mean, it's probably in my own best interest to not slow down, right? Because that's where I was about to say miracles. It is a miracle that I can do it, apparently. No, the mistakes are apparent. Yeah, it's not a fucking miracle, right? And then now this is where, again, I can slowly visualize on just making a sort of multiple rounded cylinder, right? This is where we can focus on that. And again, it's all just about calculating, intuition, visualization, repeat, right? That one looks like shit, but that's okay, same thing. And if I can just get into the habit of seeing this consistently, it's only to my benefit, no? Because then I can actually have a lot more freedom, right? Like, yeah, this is off center. This is thankfully centered. This is, I believe, relatively centered, if not slightly off center. Right, this one's pretty off center. Why do I say off center like that? Off center. Oh yeah, it's British. What I do say. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking like that. This is off center. Fuck, I can just move on. Just move on. But yeah, you see, that's pretty fucking cool in my opinion. And I think the next step on top of that is to start cutting out from these shapes. Ooh, that was like a fucking dragon's roar. But I say that a lot, don't I? For those of you who listen or watch, you're probably aware I say quite a bit. I need to stop. Right, begging for subscribers won't be able to circumvent people's disdain when they hear my voice and my shit jokes. But I can do my best to please a subscriber. Right, so maybe I can do something like... I'm trying to think. I also have the fucking Avatar theme stuck in my head. There you go. Okay, and then we can... That's also incorrect, but this can be a lot more subtle. Yeah, I tried doing subtraction, like a sphere subtraction, right? And maybe then it can... I guess this is technically cut across. Does that work? Maybe. I don't think it does. I'm just trying to figure things out right now. That doesn't really make much sense. But right, start attaching shit. Maybe we can have even a fucking giant one like over here. I don't know. this one was very difficult. And if I were to, I mean, it's already diverging drastically, right? Like this is diverging drastically. Diverging and converging horribly. Actually, diverging here, converging too fast. No, it's diverging both ways. Yeah, but either way, let's try again. But that's the thing, right? I pushed past my boundary a little bit. I found that it was a bit difficult to keep it all in mind. Now we'll go back. Now we'll do one more of this. And funny enough, I may not even need to start off with the intersection. I started off with the subtraction, but maybe that's not even necessary, right? Again, a little bit of calculation, a little bit of imagination. To get to this result. Should have been curved more back there, but again, the lines are a bit wonky. And if I were to intersect a sphere right here, what would that look like? Well, it would actually be more circular than anything. Because again, there's no hard edges, so it would actually be more, rather than having something like right? Wouldn't it be more like that? Because that hard edge hard edge. It's sort of wrapping around. There's no intersection point. I have to assume that the intersection point is also curved. Does that not make sense? So if I were to really imagine a sphere, let's say half the sphere. Or maybe if I did an addition instead. What if I did? Difficult, actually very difficult. Of course, it's just going to be in this one corner, but maybe something like that. Because again, I'm kind of thinking it's something that's sticking straight out at us, right? And then I guess if I were to put a fucking cylinder here, or like the rounded cylinder, wouldn't that just fit perfectly? Like so? Obviously it's facing in a completely different direction, but is that correct? But my intuition for this is definitely getting better. But it's less intuition and more actual thought, right? I spend more time thinking than intuiting, because I don't like, honestly for me, I don't like basing things off intuition. I would rather always be thinking, and I mean like at all times. Right, that's just the way I like it. If I feel like I have more control over my art. I ignore all those dots. That's just me calculating this, but with fucking dots, and it's starting to look nonsensical. Okay, let me rest my brain. I haven't done that in a little bit. And now I've just gotten another idea on how I can push this. Right, again, trying to make it more difficult. Because we've established that I can relatively do this decently. Why not do something? Well, first let me establish this. It's a bit fucked, but right, then still need to work on this, obviously. But if I can do that, then would it not make sense to... People are really slamming doors. Why the fuck? Man, sound travels so much in this house. One day, when you fuckers give me enough money for me to have my own studio, I will have my own studio. That's basically the point of that sentence. Kill me. Okay. Okay, I didn't mean to do this line. How else would that be indicated? that. There you go. So I should have stopped right there, maybe? Yeah, see, but like now we can continue the rounding, but make smaller shapes out of it. Right? And then again, can we... something like that. I don't know. Still figuring that out. But even here, can I just do something like this? Right? This is the form that's being indicated. Works decently. Yeah, just figuring things out, honestly. There's so much you can do with these shapes, which is why I like to take my time. I'm sure I honestly might be neutering myself, to be honest, right? Because what if in the next steps, and I think in the next steps, like you see examples of how other people did it and all that stuff. So I really just might be limiting myself. But I think if I at least go in with the ability and the mindset to improve and to sort of push past the limitations that are currently given, which is just these simple boxes and cylinders to be rounded, it might be not as hard of a jump, right? When they're like, oh, like look at all these much more complex shapes, because then I can think, oh wait, I've already kind of been pushing that angle anyways, right? I've already kind of been doing it in that way. Just a thought, right? Maybe it'll help, you know? It's in the wrong perspective. That's way too narrow compared to this. But you see? Then I can even do something like boom, right? Just like that. That doesn't really make much sense. But again, like that looks interesting in my opinion, right? I'm not going for interesting, but this stuff can happen, right? Do something like that. And then again. There you go. See? Is that even? Fuck no. Should have been way longer, but again, just something I'm playing with. It's just about kind of applying what we've learned, right? Even if what we've learned is difficult to apply. And in many cases, it genuinely is very difficult to apply. But that's what I'm trying to break out of, you know? Because, okay, let's try this type of box. So, right? Now we can, even though that's actually a bit too curved, you can see that now these are separate, right? There you go. That's all you need to see that this is disjointed. And it's incredible because we can still see that they're relatively multiple rounded, right? And again, just to add on to the quote unquote hard surfacey nature of it all, just can add things like this. Or maybe it's much longer here, and something like that. Again, I'm just thinking out loud, right? I'm literally just thinking out loud, trying to see what would sort of apply what I've been learning. And maybe this can be really flat. Right, obviously lines are shit, everything needs work. But now it kind of looks like something. But anyways, holy shit, it's already been 50 minutes. Yeah, I think they have a problem with Vimeo, or I think Vimeo has a problem in general, because this shit keeps auto-playing, which is not good. But thankfully I understand the gist of the assignment, and I can submit this. But yeah, let me rest my brain. Okay. What else can be done? What else can be done? I had an idea, so let me fucking. I'm trying to swipe away my notifications on the iPad that has the lesson, the workout open. Okay. I'm thinking something like this, right? But first, we have to make it an unconventional or difficult angle, right? Something like that. It's relatively rounded. Of course, the fucking the ellipse is so straight that it doesn't really make too much sense. But whatever, we'll just go with it for the time being, right? And then we can do something like. Okay, it's not perfect. In fact, I think I fucked up the perspective. But right, something like that. We give it a plane and then we round off the plane. This is definitely 100% off perspective. But that is starting to work. It's crazy. When you're doing it, it doesn't feel like you're making much progress, but look at that. Lo and behold, literally just a week later, right? Yeah, literally just a week later, and I was struggling so much with this. If any of you watched that last, what is this, part one? If you watched part one, you know how much I was struggling. Oh no, part one of the sci-fi loot box, right? Because that's where I was practicing this type of rounding, and you know how much I was struggling with that, but I put my best foot forward, right? And then all that shit, all that wonderful inspirational shit, I tried, and now I'm here. But yeah, obviously that one's off perspective. But again, we can even do something like this, I think. Bryce Colander specifically states that he doesn't see a grid when he draws, that he used to, and it got too complex for him. I want it to be complex. I think that's the biggest difference I've realized, is that we can all, I genuinely think Master Kim Jong-il's approach to drawing can be achieved in a myriad of ways, as long as the main, I think the main thing is, or like the main fundamentals of it, no pun intended, I guess, is just the fundamentals, right? Which is to understand perspective, and then to be able to manipulate shapes, and then just try to understand the shapes in ways that make sense to you. I think that's the main thing. I think that looks okay. It's definitely misaligned here. Definitely misaligned here. And this is way too harsh of a curve. Actually, the entire fucking thing is misaligned. I made this plane wrong. It was supposed to be like this. Let me draw over it. But see, this is how we learn, right? Again, I didn't keep the entire box in mind. I was going a bit too off intuition, but this is kind of what it should have been like. More this way. Right. I had parts of it down, but other parts, I think it should have been even more drastic than the one example I just set. Yeah, it should have been like this, actually. Right. I know I'm like doing a shit ton of drawovers. Probably doesn't make any sense. Well, that's okay. Because that's how you grind your brain, right? That's how we move past creating simple shapes and start doing something a bit more complex. So, I mean, I'm glad I could do it like that. So let's just practice another funky looking box, right? Really got to make sure. I mean, might as well ghost while I can too. Biggest difficulty is always keeping that damn box in mind. Always. It's too harsh of a curve. Didn't curve it properly here. See? Still working on it, of course. I wonder if that's three-dimensional enough. Whatever. Just trying to think. Right, maybe some sort of attachment here. Sort of missile attachment or some shit. I don't know. Doesn't really make any sense. The lines are I'm very unconfident. But yeah, it's something, right? And that's all that matters to me, is that it's something. Let me do one more. It's been an hour, so let me do one more. Biggest thing is I always got to keep the box in mind. So right, let's just keep that box in mind. I made the same mistake twice, but it's what it is. Right. Cool. So we have an attachment like this. And maybe we can, if it's possible. The question is, do we even see these sides, right? That's still something I'm grappling with. If this side is actually seen or not. How can we something like this, perhaps? Right? Yeah, this indicating. This is also could be another way to quote unquote perform a form indication, right? Okay, I'm gonna rest my brain. I want to do one more thing to this before I finish it off. It's gonna be difficult, but I want to do it, so. Oh shit, it's already 8. I actually have to go make my dad a sandwich. I am now the new matriarch of the house. I'm not joking, I actually do have to make him a sandwich. Egg sandwich, right? With cucumber and tomatoes. Or as my dad says, cucumber. Which is very cute. He said it twice. I had to giggle. I had to stifle my giggle. Stimmy my giggle even. Stimmy it! I'm gonna stop. But to do something like right? And then that could, just trying to think. Still struggle with that sometimes. And this could go straight. Like so, well, we want to have some disparity, right? Big, medium, small, all that shit. Still learning that. See, I lost the perspective there a little. But would you look at how this is already looking so much more three-dimensional and sort of hard surfacey, right? I don't know what I did there. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. But I think this can help. Right. And then we can just have, let's project it outwards, bring it here. We could do something like this. See, look at that. A shape purely made out of rounded boxes, multiple rounded boxes, and rounded cylinders, right? It's not perfect, but look at that. It's something, and it's, I guess, quote unquote, unique or creative. All of that trial and error led to something that kind of looks like goggles or something hard surfacey. So, with that being said, I mean, that was really fun, and I genuinely think I leveled up understanding fucking multiple rounding with this, honestly. So that's awesome. I had lots of fun, and this is the difference between yesterday and today, right? Where you don't draw for a couple days. Me personally, I just completely forgot to just enjoy the process and have fun and just think hard, and also focus on creating something. Well, this time around, I didn't really care. So much of this is garbage. Literally everything I make is garbage, but that garbage led to something that's slightly interesting and a pretty decent application of what I've been learning so far, right? So yes. Oh, begging for likes and subscribers. Please, 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 like, subscribe. There. Now that I've debased myself in front of the internet, or should I say behind the screen towards the internet, as always, fuck you for watching. Keep drawing and please give me money.